Okay, here's a quick video on standard form covering the topics from the last lesson. Try and make it as brief as possible. First of all, how does standard form work? You look at the first three digits in the first three digits here for that one. You can see there we've got 3 million. First three digits are 300, and you go first digit, decimal place, next two digits. So in this case, you get probably, if you're doing this properly, you do 3.00 times 10 to the 6. Now you'll see throughout that while that's true, if there are no other numbers after the first digit, you can just write 3. It's not strictly perfectly true, as a standard form should be, but everyone does it, so it's okay. So here you've got example 0.0004. When it's a decimal, a very small number, you just put a minus sign on the power of 10, so that's going to be 4 times 10 to the minus 5. So here we had 3 times 10 to the 6, because there's 6 zeros after the initial 3. And here we've got 4 times 10 to the minus 5, because we've got a small number this time, and there's 5 zeros, including the one before the decimal point. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It should usually be number dot number times 10 to the number, but that's not always adhered to. If it's just like something like 5, you will see 5 times 10 to the 6 given in standard form, and that's fine. Sometimes numbers look like they're in standard form, and they're not. Actually, one other thing, that number over there has to be between 1 and 9. It's 1 to 9.99. It can't be 10, and that's what I'm going to come to actually in the next thing. You do get some numbers that look like standard form but aren't. So let's have a look here. We've got 10 times 10 to the power of 6. How do we deal with that? Divide through by 10, and you get 1 times 10. And why is that 7? Because we've taken 10 and divided by 10. Where's that 10 being added to? We've got 10 to the 6, that now becomes 10 to the 7. So here we've got 400 times 10 to the 2, that becomes 4 times 10 to the 4. How comes? Because we're dividing by 100, which is 10 squared, 2 lots of 10, and then we add that to the 2 lots of 10 we already have. Here we've got 0.3 times 10 to the 7. It's like we're borrowing a 10 this time, so it becomes 3, because we borrowed the 10 from the pile of 10 to the 7, it leaves you with 10 to the 6. Another time this happens is if you multiply or divide standard forms together. How does that work? You multiply the initial numbers, 3 times 4 is 12, then you've got 10 to the 6 plus 10 to the 3, so 10 to the 6 times 10 to 3, the effect is as if you're adding 6 add 3. So you get 12 times 10 to the 9, we know that can't happen because it has to be between 1 and 9.99, the initial number, so we divide through by 10, and we get 1.2 times 10 to the 10. An example of division, 3 times 10 to the 2 divided by 2 times 10 to the minus 4. This time you're dividing, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, but instead of adding the powers, because we're dividing, you'll be subtracting 2 minus minus 4, positive 6. I hope that makes sense. Bye.